Fall Guys. The game that had no chance. This game was only with us for a little bit of time. This game thrived for only 1 month, and after that, the game slowly died a slow, agonizing death. And now, here we are. Fall Guys is officially dead.
Fall Guys was one of my favorite games to play back in 2021 to 2022. I played this game since it launched. I've seen the best and the worst of the game. I'm here to see how this game went from top of the world to barely peaking at 2,000 players. And that's a stretch. I'm gonna go through each season of Fall Guys to see why this once beloved game died so quickly. So sit back, grab a bag of popcorn, and let me show you the unfortunate fall of Fall Guys. Fall Guys was officially released on August 4th, 2020. This game blew up. This game cost $20 at launch, unless you had PlayStation Plus. The game was really refreshing at the time. In Fall Guys, you compete with 60 other players to get the luxurious crown. For just playing the game, you gain kudos. Kudos and crowns were used to unlock outfits, emotes, patterns, colors, nicknames, and other cosmetics. The game also had a free battle pass. It was only 40 tiers at the time. All you had to do was play the game to earn fame towards the fame pass. You didn't have challenges or even an option to skip tiers. You just played the game to unlock stuff. The only thing you could buy in the game at the time were $5 skin packs that had 3 skins. You could also buy kudos. In Fall Guys, there were 6 round types. In this mode, you try to qualify your bean before the max amount of beans qualify before your bean does. Where you try not to die before the maximum of players die. Basically a survival round, but you have to use your brain. Where you collect a certain amount of objects before the timer runs out. Better hope your teammates are good, because if they're not, you're screwed. Holy crap! Any of the previous rounds, but only one can win. Some are more hated than the others. When this game launched, it was released with seasons. Let's talk about seasons. Yes, I know that transition sucked. Just play the gosh darn music, bro. Just play the low. The first season came out the second the game launched. With it, it introduced the 25 core rounds of the game. The Battle Pass was also released. There wasn't any theme to the season. If there was a theme, it would just be the game itself. This season had the game's first ever mid-season update. It wasn't much. This update added bug fixes and the iconic Big Yeetus. Yes, it was named Big Yeetus. It was funnier at the time. The season was near perfection, but there was one main issue. Hackers. Hackers caused a bunch of players to quit the game. Mediatonic eventually fixed it, but it was too late. This season lasted 65 days. Season 2 came out October 8th, 2020. This was the first ever season to have an actual theme. The season had a medieval theme. The season introduced the show selector, banners and name tags, and 4 new rounds. Egg scramble, but whimsical. A solo version of Hoopsie Daisy. A night-themed race course, where you have to dodge swinging axes and 2 giant specky logs. And the most unique mode out of the 3, where you have to move blocks to reach the top of the platforms while racing other players to reach the finish line. At launch, people were underwhelmed. This season had only 4 maps, and half of them were reskins of other courses. Even the Battle Pass was underwhelming. This pass had a grand total of 3 underwhelming skins. Season 1 had 5 skins. This season's launch wasn't horrendous. It was still fun. The new modes were still fun. It was just underwhelming. This game needed something big to bring people back. It's only the second season, so I'll give it a slight pass. The mid-season update, though, did add some content. This update allowed PC players to finally show their actual gamer tag. This update also added big fans. It's a race mode with big fans. I'm a big fan of this one.
Oh, brother, this guy's...
This update added medieval round variations to some classic modes. This was a good update. The update didn't revolutionize the game, but at the time, it was still a nice bit of mid-season content. Overall, the season was fine. The season lasted 68 days.
Listen to me, you witch! I told you to leave me and my family alone!
Season 3 came out December 15th, 2020. This season had a Christmas/winter theme.
We need to go right now.
This season added a buttload of new content. This season introduced crown ranks. This feature gave more progression and more of a reason to grind wins. Each crown rank had a reward for a certain amount of crowns gained/won. This season had about 2 times as many modes as season 2. This season had a grand total of 7 new rounds. This is a race on a mountain. You have to reach to the top of the mountain to qualify. You have to catch and hold a penguin for as long as possible to earn points for your team. Rollout, but as a final. Hoopsie Legends, but skiing. This is a team mode where you have to roll your team's snowball to gain snow to make it larger. The team with the smallest snowball is disqualified. Hexagon, but it had ice hexagons instead of normal hexagons. A tundra themed course. Every round added this season outshined season 2's rounds. If season 2 had as much content as this season, more people probably would have stuck around. This isn't even the best season in this game. I'll get to that season soon, but this season was really, really good. The mid-season update added even more content to be excited about. A survival round where you have to avoid the gigantic snowballs from pushing you off the map. And as usual, this update added some round variations. This season lasted a grand total of 97 days. A bit longer than usual, not that much of an issue. Welcome back to Studio Doodle. I'm News Doodle.
And I'm John.
Let's get into this week's scoop. I'm getting news that the creators of Fall Guys, Mediatonic, are getting bought by the creators of Fortnite. Hopefully this won't lead to Epic completely ruining the game. Right, John?
I don't get paid enough for this crap.
With the news out of the way, let's hand the mic back to Doodle.
My finger is on the button.
Push the button.
Season 4 came out on March 22nd, 2021. This season had a futuristic theme. Before I talk about this season, this right here is peak Fall Guys. This season introduced crown shards. Crown shards are another way to gain crowns. 60 crown shards equal 1 crown. This season introduced squads, 10 more levels to the battle pass, and 7 new rounds at launch.
In the future, entertainment will be randomly generated.
The only game mode in Fall Guys where you can dunk on other beans.
Randomly generated.
Try not to get knocked off the giant seesaw from massive objects.
Randomly generated?
This is the first ever race and survival course in the game. In this mode, you have to try not to fall off the platform. There are race aspects throughout the mode with a small course in the middle.
Randomly generated.
Grab a battery to claim as much space for a team to win.
Randomly generated?
A race round, but you have to pass the finish line twice to qualify.
Randomly generated.
Rollouts, but as a race.
Randomly generated.
A futuristic themed course that shows off all the season's newest features. The season also had a Among Us collab. It was 2021. It was still relevant and funny at the time.
Sassy!
Even the mid-season update was super good. It introduced 2 rounds. You have to try to push more gold buttons than the other player to survive. This round is kinda bad, but the slime makes up for button bashers. Slime Scraper is Slime Climb, but so much better and so much harder than Slime Climb. I don't know what else to say other than that this mode is just really, really good. Yeah. This update also introduced custom rounds. This was a feature mainly for content creators. This was still an amazing feature. This season lasted 120 days. Even though the season was super long, this season was super good. Fall Guys can make some incredible stuff, but the season had the lowest player count in the game's history so far. Lower than Season 2. Even though the season was incredible, that doesn't change the fact that this game was still bleeding out and dying as I speak. Good season. Let's talk about the next season. Season 5 came out July 20th, 2021. This season had a jungle theme. This season introduced duos, trios, live events, and 6 new modes. You pop bubbles to earn points to qualify. You jump on lily pads. I like jumping on lily pads. Fall Mountain, but better. Penguin pursuits without teams. Try not to get knocked off by the raging rhino. I like the frog. I think he's pretty cool. This season brought more than 10,000 players back to the game. I don't exactly know why, but I think that's pretty cool. There was a lot of excitement from the community for the season to release, since Season 4 lasted forever. Maybe that's why, but I digress. The season's launch was pretty fun. The season had a mid-season update, as usual. This update added an updated lobby. It's not bad, but I don't know how to explain it. Just look at these two. Which one do you think looks better? This update added one new round. I get it. That's pretty funny. Some fruit is perfect match, but with physical fruit. And math. Also, they removed the seasonal countdown from the battle pass screen. The season lasted 133 days. Hopefully the next season is shorter, right? Season 6 came out November 30th, 2021. This season was party themed. This season introduced 5 new rounds. Wait, I feel like I'm missing something. Isn't there supposed to be something else? Hopefully these rounds make up for the lack of new content. You gotta stay in the zone to qualify. You gotta stay in the moving small zone to qualify. Seesaw, but with circular seesaws. Go through the pipes to eventually reach the end. The circus-themed race with all the new obstacles released that season. The mid-season update introduced cross-progression. Future me here, actually this feature was added with the launch of Season 6. The thing that was added this update was the ability to play with players from other platforms, which I think is a pretty good feature, but cross-progression... Just keep watching the video. You'll see what I think about it. Cross progression sounds great on paper, but there was a massive downside. This update added the fun little feature where you have to connect your Epic Games account, or if you don't have one, make one, to even play the frickin' game. And if you decide not to, well then you're screwed. This right here is possibly the worst ever feature they added to the game. By the way, I lost my original account thanks to cross progression. I won't be surprised if a lot of other players had their accounts blocked. This update did add one new round. This round introduced the new round type, where if you were a thief, you steal as much candy as possible. If you're a guardian, you try to stop the thieves from stealing the candy or pressing the big red button to release the imprisoned beans. This mode wasn't a part of the regular rotation. It was a limited time mode. Also, there were no round variations. Okay, let me get this straight. All this update really added to the game was a barrier to play this game. Even if Sweet Thieves was good, which it is, it's a limited time mode. Ever since Tim Sweeney put his slimy little Fortnite fingers on this game, it's been getting worse. Every season since Epic Games bought Mediatonic have been getting longer and have had lesser and lesser content than the previous seasons. Let's see how long this season lasted, shall we? From YouTube, Fall Guys scheduled a live stream called The Big Announcement. That makes some sense, but my point still stands. This season shouldn't have lasted more than half a year for this one announcement. On May 12th, 2022, there was an announcement for a stream called The Big Announcement.
A lot of people theorized that this must be free to play, and it was. This announcement didn't just announce free to play. It also announced that Fall Guys would release on Xbox and Nintendo Switch. If you bought the game before this update, you would get some skins, the Battle Pass, which now costs money. The Battle Pass now costs 10,000 10,000 Showbucks, which is the currency that is used to buy skins and emotes from the shop. Showbucks also replaced crowns. Crowns still technically exist just for crown ranks. Kudos still exists, but they are not as good. They also tease creative, which I will talk about that later. And last but not least, they release yeah, we're not back to Season 1. Think of this season as Fortnite Season 10 going into Chapter 2 Season 1. This season was, of sorts, a soft reboot of the game. Older seasons were now called Legacy Seasons. With the game now being free, this season slightly revived the game. This season came out on July 21st, 2022. This season was sports themed. This season also had 7 new rounds. We try to knock people off with massive balls that explode. Another hoop round where you have to bounce to collect the hoops. If Hexagon and Roll Off had a baby. Short Circuit Electric Boogaloo. You gotta run for your life. Parkour! A 2v2 round like Button Bashers but with volleyball. Even though the season made the game have microtransactions, by itself, this was an amazing season. This season made the game have its last ever spike of popularity. This season didn't have a mid-season update, as usual, but did have something similar. In the middle of the season, Fall Guys added Bean Hill Zone, a Sonic-themed level where you gotta collect coins to qualify. Unlike Bean Thieves, somehow this round wasn't the regular poll of modes, which I'm honestly kinda surprised since this was a collaboration mode with Sonic. This season lasted 86 days. This season came out swinging. Will the season continue the momentum this season started? What did I expect? The season came out on September 15th, 2022. The season had a outer space theme. The season added 8 new rounds. You need to hop across space lanes to reach the end. Button Bashers, but slightly better. Hexagon, but the hexagons respawn. Hoverboard Heroes, but harder. This round is good if you don't have 5-year-old teammates. It's a race in space. Tiptoe, but less annoying. If Fall Mountain and Tiptoe had a little kid. Later in the season, they also added Bean Thieves, but spooky. This season itself was fine. The new modes were fun and interesting, but the season single-handedly made the worst choice this game could have made. This season started to vault rounds. Yes. I am serious. There were about 80 rounds in this game, and this feature took away 20 rounds at the time. Modes like Slime Scraper, Hexagon, Power Trap, and many more were removed. I slightly understand why they decided to do this, but this game isn't Fortnite. For a game like Fall Guys to succeed and keep players, there needs to be as many rounds as possible to keep players engaged. This change was a big mistake. This season lasted 68 days.
Crabs, I have terrible news. How do I put this? Oh, I've got it.
This season came out on November 22nd, 2022. This season had a Under the Sea theme in the winter for some reason. This season added the feature that allowed you to preview celebrations in your locker. This should have happened earlier in the game's history, but better late than never, right? Also, 5 new rounds. Blast Ball, but as a survival round. Another hoop round, but with slides. You gotta avoid the Kraken's tentacles from slapping you off the platforms. You gotta follow the line that leads you to a portal that eventually leads to the finish line, or jump through random portals and be lucky. Where you gotta slide down slides to the finish line. This season felt off. Maybe it's because of the new rounds just being too easy. Remember the vault feature from last season? They doubled down on this feature and removed half of the game's rounds from the game. Are they trying to kill this game? Also, the vaulted rounds for some reason got unvaulted on January 19th, 2023 for 30 minutes. And there were no problems with the game. This season lasted 169 days. Come on, man, we were just there.
4-bit.
This season came out on May 10th, 2023. This season had so many more changes than the lackluster Season 3. This season added the highly anticipated creative mode. Fall Guys also added, in total, 225 new rounds. 20 created by Mediatonic and the rest were created by the community. All in creative mode. In Season 4, they would add 3 total battle passes with 40 tiers. The season added a couple of updates to creative sprinkled throughout the season. This season lasted 98 days. Overall, creative was an amazing and fun feature. So now on to the next season. Oh.
At the edge of a universe humming a tune, or merely dreaming we were
Mediatonic announced that they would stop releasing seasons to focus on more frequent updates to creative and working on rounds. Yeah, I do not think this game is ever gonna come back. Which is a shame because I really loved this game when it was released. I used to play this game all the time and now I don't play it at all. It just sits in my Steam library staring at me. Last year, when I was writing the script, I hoped that this game could have a slight resurgence with the mobile port last year. However, when it was released, it was banned from iOS devices because it was a game owned by Epic, and also it was only in Europe. They laid off 830 employees at Mediatonic in 2023. And the most recognition Epic Games gave to the game was a small cameo in the Big Bang event and a worse version of Fall Guys in Fortnite UEFN, which also died, ironically. The only stuff that gets added to this game is battle passes, skins, and maybe stuff to creative, and maybe a new way to play the already existing maps if we're lucky. This game has as many players as my most popular video on this channel, and I don't even have 100 subscribers. That is just sad. I understand that it's just Steam charts, but even if I add up all the players playing the game, it would still be close. Man, this game was truly something special. It was something different, a game with an interesting premise based off of a British game show. This game died due to Epic Games' incompetence with any game that isn't Fortnite. Even if you have been here from the start, still play this game, we can all agree that this game's fall was truly unfortunate. Fall Guys, we never deserved you. Fall Guys, you never deserved us. Goodbye. Since you decided to watch both videos, or even if this is your first time watching this, thank you for watching. I guess I gotta do something different. Here's your badge of appreciation or something. Peace.
Will trap Santa in my box, locked up like Fort Knox. Xbox.